It's snowing. Hey everyone, I'm R. That's the name I'll introduce myself as, though I'm pretty open to names as part of my identity. I'll be taking over the Tuesday slot. As you probably saw, Beth is unable to, and so I'll just be taking over the Tuesday slot from now until people get annoyed of me. This channel is by and for trans youths, which we're going to expand that definition, I'm guessing, because I am 24 years old. Originally, I am from my parents in the state of Texas, though I live in Chicago right now, working on my master's degree. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater, a Bachelor of Science in Psychology, and I'm currently working on a Master of Arts in Religious Studies, writing my thesis on trans identity, the way naming plays into identity formation, and the way that also plays into the naming of God and God's identity and stuff like that. I am non-binary. I use the term non-bon because it kind of reminds me of bonbons, which kind of reminds me of like snack cakes, which reminds me of Little Debbie, and that's just, I'm all about that. I turned Little Debbie into Big Deborah. Whew. I have open pronouns, so as long as you're respectful of what you're calling me, I'm perfectly fine. A lot of my identity is about how I'm perceived, which means that I'm generally present as masculine in the world. I present as myself, right? But the way society sees that is masculine, and so as a result, I benefit from a lot of male privilege and things like that, which we may get into later, I don't know, but I always like to clarify that I do benefit from male privilege, even though I don't necessarily identify as solely male. This week's topic is partners, and I am incredibly single. And so what I want to talk about is kind of how the idea of partners is a little bit of conceptualized and how it plays into my life. I believe partners is a fairly broad term. I mean, I think that often it's categorized as people who we are in a romantic and or sexual relationship with. I think that's perfectly fine. It's a perfectly fine use of partners. But I think that there's also some expandability in a platonic realm for that. For instance, right now I am not at my apartment. I'm at my sister's house. My sister, someone I met in college, and here in grad school, someone I met in grad school, who we became really close, and we're like brother and sister now. I'm house sitting for her and her spouse, and I call them both my sister, and it's kind of this weird fictive kin, this bigger, broad family that I think is included in this idea of partners, and I think that's a key aspect of what a partner is. So secondly, I also want to speak of this, that there's romantic attraction and sexual attraction, which I think many people know, especially a lot of people who are probably watching this channel. And you have those partners who kind of like to cuddle with, or you have romance with, but not really sexual attraction towards. And then you also have those sexual partners that perhaps has a level of romance, perhaps doesn't. Sometimes the romantic and the sexual are the same person, or the same people, right? And that's perfectly fine. And it's perfectly fine if they're not. And any of those spaces can be filled by numerous people at once. I want to say that that's perfectly normal, perfectly fine. So to wrap it up, I have a few people in that platonic bond kind of partnership, not really anyone in that romantic bond, and no one really in that sexual bond. At least yet. I am absolutely open to those, and I look forward to those when they happen. But that's me. Peace.